Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Thank you all for being here today. Well, happy Tuesday, guys. And I'm sorry about yesterday. I had to get some rest. I was really exhausted because I had a really busy week last week, and I really had to get some rest. So thank you all for your patience. I did post about it, and I'm rested for the most part. And I'm here with you again today. So I'm trying to get this to be a little bit lighter. I'm not sure how to do that. It's just, hopefully, you guys can see me okay. Um, I hope you had a great Easter. Happy Easter. Remember to reflect on Jesus, and just take care of yourself, guys. It's so important to take care of yourself, because, like I said, you only have one you. And without you, um, without your mental and physical health, you can't do anything to help yourself or anybody else. So keep that in mind, as we move forward. So I hope these messages are helping you and resonating with you. And let's keep going. Remember, you're going to have good days where you feel like you can do so much. And then you're going to have those not so good days where you feel like you just don't even want to get out of bed. And it's okay. Don't be so hard on yourself. Just know you're human, and then you get up and you keep going. The key factor to all of this is to persevere, be persistent and consistent, and just keep going, and that's what I do. And that's why I'm here sharing with you guys, so that you know that if I can do it without a physical support system, just with God. And I say just with God because, not here in the physical. Some people have support systems in the physical. I didn't have that, but I had to keep going, and I still do that. I have my days just like everybody else where you don't feel like doing anything. That's why I had to rest, because I was doing too much. And, it's important. I'm always talking about that. It's important that I, get the rest that I need. So thank you for being patient with me, and for everyone, including newcomers, welcome. Thank you for being here, and know that this is a no judgment zone. We're here to uplift. There's so much of that in the world already today with the toxicity, and you see what's going on, the uncertain times. So we're here to lift everybody up, lift up your spirits, your mind, everything here. So make sure if you leave any comments that they're respectable to one another. Also, keep in mind, I'm not a therapist, social worker, or counselor. I'm just somebody who's sharing everything I've went through and how I've gotten through it. So as you hear these stories, if you're currently going through circumstances that are not so good and you're having difficult times, perhaps something I say here that might resonate with you, that might be similar to your own circumstances, might help you. And that's what I'm doing here. So, with that being said, let's get into this topic of discussion today: healing, boundaries, and respect. Healing, boundaries, and respect. Um, in the world we live in today, that seems to be minimizing, right, guys? You know, but when you decide to heal from all the pain, the trauma, everything that you've been through, because if you don't heal it, it just grows and grows, and the feelings start to feel like walls closing in on you. So it's important to take care of yourself, your mental, your physical, everything. Healing at times require that we be still or silent in order to clear our mind from the clutter, the anxiety, the overthinking, or even the pain. Because, when we're running, jumping, skipping, and hopping all over the place, we're not allowing ourselves to just sit and take a moment for ourselves. And that's important because that's also a healing process of healing the pain. you know I like to spend some time alone in meditation, music, reflection, and prayer, because, like, when you have that time and you're able to spend that time alone, what happens when you're able to do that is that you feel better. It's just like a person who's a workaholic, right? And they work and work and work, and they have vacation time that's building up each year and they don't take it. Then you start to feel sluggish. You start to feel like, like your mental and physical health suffers. So when you take that vacation, you go away for a week or 2 weeks, and when you come back, you feel regenerated, alive again. And that's what we need to do with our mental and physical health, guys. And if someone tells you that they feel some kind of way about you taking a time out to take care of yourself, I would reflect on that, because no one should feel in a negative about somebody taking care of their physical and mental health. It's just like if you have um, pain or sickness in your body, you're going to go to a doctor to find out what it is and then get whatever medicine or whatever is necessary to correct that matter. The same with your mental and physical health, because without that, you can't help yourself. You can't take care of yourself or anything else around you. So that must be a priority. And it's not being selfish, it's not being narcissistic, none of that. It is a must. And that should always be a priority. And people in your life and around you should be able to understand that. Because healing is the key factor to all this pain and anguish and all this toxicity. When I was going through my worst pain of losses during a shutdown, that's when I wrote my third book. I will tell you guys this, that I have a publishing firm who's just in love with this third book. And it's not a self-publishing, it's actually a publishing firm. But they don't understand the pain I was in when I wrote this book. And what I'm learning is that many entertainers, artists, they write their best material at their lowest moment or at their worst pain. And this book is probably better than the other two that I already wrote. And they just love it. And it's just things in that. It's mostly fiction. But we were in a shutdown for almost a year. It took me that amount of time to write it. And I would sit with flowers like I have here, of music. I would have a headset on. I would have a glass of wine, probably a candle lit, and make it a, how do you say that? Like a certain type of atmosphere so that I could write. And I just wrote day and night. Sometimes I was up to 1 or 2 o'clock writing. And I just kept going and going and going. And it was an outlet for the pain for me as well, with everything. Because every time I was turning around, I was getting a phone call or a message that this one died over here, that one over there, this one here. And it was just too much. And you know how in a movie, Forrest Gump, people are going to say weird stuff about this, but the guy was really, to me, he was very intelligent. Um, when when Jenny broke up with him, and or he woke up, she was gone, he was so devastated. He just ran and ran and ran. That was an outlet for the pain. He just felt like running. People find different ways to handle their pain, and one of the ways I did was writing a book, because we were in a shutdown. Remember, we were not allowed to leave the house in the beginning. Only to shop to get groceries and back, because everything was shut down. And I just wrote and wrote and wrote, the tears going, just rolling down my face, getting message after message about the losses. So that's where this writing, came from. Writing music. And then as the gym opened up, I was at the gym. That was another outlet for the pain of what I was feeling. Um, just go to the gym and just work out. Um, what else I want to say about this? All these things helped me tremendously during the darkest moment. Also therapy, but besides therapy, these are the other things that I did. One major decision that I am proud of today, that I was able to relocate and move from the area that I was living in. because the area, the people, the situations in that area, it was just toxic, full of toxicity. And when you're trying to heal, grow, and evolve, you can't be around that amount of toxicity. I know I couldn't. And I had to find a way to get out of it. And it was difficult to relocate and do things. But what I did, there was so much toxicity that was going on there that I couldn't really heal the way I wanted to. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to leave this behind. I'm going to leave everything behind for my peace of mind, because my peace of mind, my everything was at stake. So I left everything, the job, the location, the people, I even cut off everything toxic. As I start to do more, I have some notes here so I can cover everything. As I start to do more work and set boundaries and just, I just cut off even toxic family members, so-called friends, so-called relationships. I left all that stuff behind. And it was necessary because when I set boundaries, people were not respecting them. And it was just like stuff was going on and on and on. And so I used to be in this frame of mind, people, that if you stay to yourself, mind your business, take care of and handle your business, that you will be okay. No, sometimes people who are narcissistic and toxic, they will bring the drama to your front door. You may not even know what's going on. Maybe these are people you haven't seen in years, and they right there outside your door with some drama and toxicity. And I knew I had to uproot myself from that environment and just leave. And it was very difficult, but it was very, very necessary. These were the most painful decisions in my life that I had to make. However, it was necessary for my peace of mind, my growth, and my mental health. Folks, I have been through hell, lots of it. Some of these things I've been through that I haven't even talked about yet. Some people, may not be able to get through it, but I trust God, because at my lowest point, He was the one that was there. And I made vows and promised to Him, if He uplift me from this, that, I was going to do my best and I was going to pay it forward to help others as I help myself. Not be a doormat to others, but to help people who are really suffering and in pain and who just need to find ways to heal. And that's what I do today. Therapy, prayer, God, meditation has helped me to move forward. Without any of these things, I would never be moving forward. I would be stuck and stagnated. When it comes to healing and setting boundaries, I am very serious about this. And people sometimes, because of the way I speak, I don't have to get loud. I don't have to be out of character to be firm about something. All I have to do is express that, the person that I am. And when people are with the attitude, girl, sit down, shut up kind of attitude, that is a high level of disrespect. And when I encounter that, there's no more boundaries for me. Cut off, block, and delete. Because when someone tells you that they need to heal, and then some of these people knew about this pain, knew about all this stuff I went through, and knew that I had no support system. And to utter those words and show that disrespect shows me how they truly feel. And so I had to cut off, block, and delete. And at first, I kind of felt bad about it. But as I grew stronger and in prayer, meditation, doing the work through therapy and setting boundaries, it was necessary. Because how can you heal when you have a high level of toxicity always around you and people are bringing it to your front door? You're never healed. So you have to set boundaries. If they're disrespected, then they're saying they don't care about your healing or they don't care about you. And that's the message I got from that. And so I had to cut off, block, and delete and not look back. You know how in the Bible, God told Lot and his wife not to look back, but she actually looked back and turned into a pillar of salt. I don't look back. I keep moving forward. I have moments where I think about what happened, etc., but I have moved forward and healed most of it for the most part. These were, folks, it's just been a lot. Therapy, prayer, meditation has helped me. When it comes to healing and setting boundaries, is very important for your mental and physical health. When it comes to disrespect, I will, like I said, sometimes it's necessary to cut off, block, and delete because in order to not be distracted by the toxicity and the toxic individuals. I have no problem at this point cutting people off, if it's necessary. Never, also, guys, never allow anyone or give your power over to somebody else, or they will control and create your narrative, in your life. Never give your power to anybody else. Take back your power and close the door to toxicity in order to acquire inner peace. In order to have peace, you have to let go of the things that are affecting your mental and physical health. It's so important, guys. You are stronger than you know. I didn't ever think that I would be able to do this without a physical support system. Just words of encouragement from people, when somebody has your back and cheering you on, it just energizes your spirit. I didn't have that. I had to stay in prayer, meditation, and look to God, use my discernment. And that's another thing, people. Use your discernment. If you feel some kind of way about a situation or circumstance or whatever, listen to that inner voice, that discernment, because it will never lead you down the wrong path. And I listen to that today. But you are stronger than what you know. Be concerned about taking care of your mental health, regardless of what other people feel or have to say about it. You have to focus on yourself, because those things like what somebody feel about it, people bringing drama and toxicity to your door, those things are a distraction from your path of healing. And it could deter you from healing. So stay on a path, stay focused. Know that you're going to have up days. You're going to have some days that are not so good. And sometimes you may have to close some doors. And it's painful because it may be, like in my case, it was doors of people I've known most of my life. But it was necessary because we were walking down two different paths. They didn't understand my healing. They didn't understand my pain, you know. In fact, some people didn't even understand, how are you still here with everything? Because of God. My strength, my everything comes from God, and I keep moving forward, guys, because I know that as those doors shut, that if I keep moving forward, new doors will open, new blessings, new people, new situations, uplifting situations. Just keep moving forward. You never know what tomorrow is going to bring, but know your healing and everything is so important, people, because without that, you can't grow, heal, and evolve. And that means you can stay in a place of mental anguish, and that's never good, or grief. Those things can lead to depression and hopelessness. The best place to start is with a grief therapist, and also with those who are not grieving love of a lost one, or you're just having some mental issues, a therapist. Talk to a therapist. Find one that you connect with. Also, they have online group sessions where people talk about the things that they've gone through, and they talk about ways how they gotten through it. Be an overcomer. Don't allow these situations to overcome you. You can get through them. If I'm able to do this without a physical support system, only with God, you can do this too. One day at a time, one step at a time. Remember, nothing ventured is nothing gained. Nothing's going to happen overnight. But if you keep going and moving forward, you will see the positive results little by little as you keep moving forward, and ask God to help you. One day at a time, one step at a time. It is so better to be at a place of peace, because you will acquire the inner peace that you need. And it's so much better to be at a place of peace instead of broken down into pieces. Please share the message. That's the message for today. Invite others here. Subscribe to the channel so that you will get a notification as to when I'm here. and then you can join me. And please share this with others, because we are living in uncertainty times with so much hate, so much division and toxicity, that people need to be uplifted, and they need to be in an environment to help them do so. So invite others here. And thank you all for your support and for being here. And I'll see you guys again sometime tomorrow. And in the meantime, take care of yourself. Make sure you're doing something for yourself once a day in order to take care of your mental and physical health. Well, thank you again, guys. Have a great day. This is Lisa, shedding love and light to you all, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now, guys.